And Indiana has done it. Their first ever Commissioner's Cup championship, knocking off the Minnesota Lynx. This is Howard setting up McDonald, knocking down the tray. Finds a cutting McDonald, easy deuce.
You won't believe what the Indiana Fever just pulled off. Without their biggest star, Caitlin Clark, and after veteran guard Dana Evans was sidelined, they faced the WNBA's most dominant team, the Minnesota Lynx, and MVP frontrunner Nafisa Collier. Everyone expected a blowout. Instead, the Fever delivered a stunning upset, fueled by heart, hustle, and a masterclass performance from Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Natasha Howard. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement. And Caitlin Clark's 6-word reaction after the game said it all. If you're riding with the Fever, drop a comment. I've got the fever. Let's go. Picture this. The Indiana Fever step into the Target Center for their first ever Commissioner's Cup final, but their roster is crumbling. Caitlin Clark, their superstar sophomore and heart of this team all season, watches helplessly from the bench, sidelined for a third straight game by a stubborn groin injury. This wasn't just any absence. This was their leading scorer, their playmaking engine, the electrifying force that had packed arenas nationwide. Without her, the Fever weren't just missing a player. They were missing their identity. And yet, they walked in anyway, ready to fight.
Caitlin and her status, just how did she look? How did she feel today during shoot-around? And is she making progress and getting closer playing?
She's making progress. You know, I think, again, top of mind, I think I told you this afternoon, is just long-term. You know, making sure that we don't have any setbacks. You know, making progress and feeling good are two different things. And we want to make sure that she feels good. We want to make sure that she's confident. We want to make sure that we're not putting her in a position to have any setbacks. And that's the priority right now.
But the Fever's challenges didn't end there. Diamond DeShields, their explosive wing and defensive anchor, was thousands of miles away, competing in the FIBA Mary Cup, leaving yet another gaping hole in their already depleted rotation.
Listo. Hey, Fever, good luck. I miss you.
Then there's a DeWanna Bonner situation, a betrayal no one saw coming. The Fever signed the seasoned vet this offseason for her experience, leadership, and clutch play. But after just 9 games, she quit on the team, forcing Indiana to waive her. No warning, no farewell, just gone. In a season where every game mattered, Bonner walked away when her teammates needed her most.
DeWanna Bonner was brought in for leadership. She was brought in for leadership. And do you want to know all that these young players learned from her? If things don't go your way, refuse to show up. Continue to get paid a max contract while you are sitting out, refusing to play.
She got benched. She couldn't handle it. I want out. She's not playing well. She's getting criticized. I want out.
Now, let's talk about the mountain the Fever had to climb. The Minnesota Lynx weren't just good. They were unstoppable, with a league-best 14-3 record. The defending Commissioner's Cup champions were playing on their home floor, backed by a sold-out crowd roaring for blood. And leading the charge, Nafisa Collier, the MVP frontrunner, playing the best basketball of her career. The odds were brutal. Vegas had the Lynx favored by 14 points, a near-insulting margin. The basketball world had already written the Fever's obituary before tip-off. Analysts called it a waste of a matchup, a guaranteed blowout. A team with no business sharing the court with Minnesota's juggernaut. But Indiana didn't get the memo.
They look pretty flawless, you know, in the way that they're playing. I don't know if different is the word as much as they look even more connected. You know, they're a team that was connected a year ago, but really the nuance of having each other's back on the defensive end, of knowing where your teammate's going to be, you know, discipline to coverages, the connectivity that they have on the offensive end of the floor. I mean, the way that they move with and without the ball, the way that the ball moves makes it really tough to cover. You know, I often say that offense is like a dance, and they are flowing, man. They are making music, and there's no doubt about it. So we have to try to be disruptive, and we have to try to take them out of that rhythm.
This was supposed to be their moment, their first Commissioner's Cup final appearance in franchise history, and everything that could go wrong did go wrong. The remaining players knew every eye was on them. Every critic was waiting for them to fold under the pressure. The Fever were walking into this game like David facing Goliath, except David showed up with a broken slingshot, and half his army had deserted him. This was supposed to be their moment. The Fever's first ever Commissioner's Cup final, a chance to make franchise history. But instead of a coronation, it became a nightmare. Everything that could go wrong did. Every eye was on them. Every critic leaned in, waiting for the collapse. The Fever weren't just underdogs. They were David walking into Goliath's arena, armed with a broken slingshot and half an army. Star players gone. Veterans vanished. Doubters everywhere. And yet, they still stepped onto that court. This is where the cracks became canyons. Without Caitlin Clark running the show, the Fever looked unrecognizable, like someone had removed the engine from a speeding car. In their last 5 games before the final, they collapsed in 3 of them, coughing up double-digit leads that should have been locked away. The offense moved in quicksand, their once electric pace ground to a frustrating halt. The beautiful ball movement that defined their season? Gone. Replaced by desperate hero ball and 4 shots. You can see the breakdown happening possession by possession. Instead of whip-smart passes, contested fadeaways instead of trusting the system, panicked isolation plays instead of championship composure. A team unraveling in real time. This wasn't just a slump. This was an identity crisis. The Fever that had captured the league's imagination all season, they were nowhere to be found.
Guys, I just know everybody in the league is sick.
But this wasn't just about calling out the noise. The video of Clark sloshing sparkling cider from the trophy, cackling as she beckoned rookie Celeste Taylor and Nate Timpson into the fray, revealed something deeper, a leader, injured but undeterred. She weaponized joy, turning the locker room into a rebellion against every doubter. This was more than a win. It was a manifesto, us versus the world. And the Fever had just rewritten the rules. They just flat out beat us, a rare admission from the defending champs. This wasn't luck. This was a team exposing its championship DNA, depth, heart, and resilience when their brightest star was sidelined. And that's what makes this terrifying for the league. Imagine this Fever team with Caitlin Clark. But this victory transcended basketball. It was about silencing doubters, surviving betrayal, and laughing in the face of adversity. When the world wrote them off, the Fever didn't just survive, they rose.
I know it's not a WNBA championship, but to celebrate a championship nonetheless on Target Center on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, we have a resilient group. You know, they're tough mentally, physically. They pull for one another. You know, I don't know if it's something that I learned that I didn't already know. It's just I'm proud for them that they can see it come to fruition. Being able to handle the ebbs and flows of the game, being able to give to one another regardless of struggles. I mean, we had some players that were struggling. We had some moments where we struggled, but we still gave to one another. And that's a growth area for our team. I felt like our execution through 3 quarters on both ends of the floor was really good against an outstanding team. I mean, I'm just really proud of this group.
The Indiana Fever just sent the entire WNBA a warning shot. Never underestimate a team with championship heart. This wasn't just an upset. It was a revelation. Kelsey Mitchell's clutch buckets, Aaliyah Boston's dominant paint presence, Natasha Howard's veteran leadership, role players like Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull, and Aaliyah Edwards, note, corrected names, rising to the moment. Every single player proved that true contending DNA runs deeper than any one superstar. And here's the scariest part for the league. This is just the beginning when Caitlin Clark returns. This team won't just be good, they'll be unleashed. Now they know they can win without her, which makes them infinitely more dangerous with her point 2025 is coming. The Fever are ready. Are you? If you believe in the squad, drop I've got the fever in the comments. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of this historic rise. Watch the full game highlights on screen next. You won't want to miss how they made history.